No. So, anyway, so what we're talking about, look, let's move away from the more, like...
Well...
So, we weren't just talking about drugs, so let's just talk about let's just get that. There's an elephant in the room at the moment. I know you're all thinking it. Okay, yes.
It's money!
People do like taking drugs when they listen to electronic music. Now, there's a deeper meaning for that, okay, and it's probably got something to do...
No, I'll go into that, if you don't mind. I'll have a...
Please.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, this is not so much, doesn't have anything to do with drugs, actually. Well, it kind of does, but... obviously, you know, I think when you take drugs and listen to music, it heightens your emotional connection and your emotional experience to it, whether that be good or bad, whatever. But I think it heightens your senses and you're more sensitive to being influenced by external things like music. Yeah. And what I think is that, you know, music, obviously, as most people would know, has this weird, unique, deep connection to something that could be your soul. Or...
Is it the beat? Is it your heartbeat? Is it like a 4/4 time?
I don't know. See, what I think it kind of is, I think the mathematical precision of a lot of music and things like harmonies and beautiful music, like that's very, you know, balanced and all that. I think that speaks to our desire and our connection to things in the universe that are perfect. Because you know how the universe is written in a mathematical way.
Is that the reason why the world's so fucked up at the moment? Because of dubstep? That's correct.
Offbeat, yes.
Because of electro and dubstep, that's the reason why the world's so fucked up. I've nailed it. I know it.
I think you're right, Shawnee. Yeah. But I really think that, you know, sort of beautiful, mathematically perfect music is very pleasing to our ears mathematically, and I think that's why we like it. And I think it resonates with us because it's so balanced and even, and you know. It resonates through your own mathematically perfect body. So I think that's sort of where that part of it comes into. But also what I think is that emotion, you know, I think if you look at everything as it exists on an energetic level and it vibrates, you know, so it's got constant like particles and whatever it is, light, emotion, it just is vibrations. And that's what music is. So when you think about what your emotions are, I think that different emotions are just energies vibrating on a different level, and I think that you can correlate those with music because music is just energy vibrating on a different level.
We're thinking about electronic music at the moment, but a good example of that is Marilyn Manson. I'm going to cut my wrists. This sort of stuff, like I think a lot of, you know, Korn, death metal, all that sort of stuff. It resonates on different levels. With you, depending on your journey in life and who you've been around and how you get brought up, and that is why you get this sort of different personality type to people who are happy listening simply to superficial commercial music. When I say superficial, the music might be good or it might be bad or whatever, but superficial in the fact that you don't have to work for that music. Okay, now like the underground, more underground music scene, such as, you know, whatever the fuck, like, you know, in any musical genre, you have to work for that. You have to go and find that niche. You have to go deep down in there. And now in one way or another, that niche, when you find it, is going to give you more enjoyment on a deeper level than you just hearing something on the radio and you going, I like that.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that sort of matches with, like, you know, like you said, the work you have to put into finding these underground niches is similar to the work that you have to go to internally to get that unusual, unique music to resonate with you on a level that you haven't yet discovered in yourself, in a vibrational, emotional level that you haven't yet had a look into.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and so that's why, you know, it gives you a lot of satisfaction when you are actually that in tune with who you are and, you know, self-reflected and all that shit. Yeah. It gives you a much greater chances of actually finding music that connects with you and being satisfied from that connection. And then same goes, you know, with the music that is on the radio. I'd say that sort of vibrational frequency of that music would be very easily tapped into by the normal person, who it must be just an emotion that is very shallow and we experience all the time.
It's the same sort of person that would go home. It's the same sort of person that would probably go home and switch on the TV and watch the TV.
Yeah.
So you know, watch the TV all night and sit through ads and sit through just a generic programming of the TV. So it's just this,
connection.
This easy way out. Now, I'm not saying you might be very productive at work, proactive in work, and you just want to go and switch off and all the rest of it. Whatever the fuck, I'm not saying for better or worse at all, but it's the sort of person who, if you like the commercial aspect, then that usually relates to everything else in your life.
Yeah.
If you like the commercial aspect of something, you've been brought up a certain way to take things easy in that.
Looking at yourself a bit more and figuring out what it is that you actually like is so beneficial. Like, not just in music, but in everything. You've really got to figure out what it is that you want and what you like, not just taking it as it's there or whatever.
That's right.
But just in all that vibrational stuff, another point, just to sort of explain what I think about it a bit more deeply. When you were talking to me about your meditation experiences a few times, when you started to feel that euphoric feeling in you after meditation, I suggested to Sean that are we supposed to talk to each other in first person or like in third person?
They might get confused. But there's only two people.
Remember, Sean, when I said to you, because if Sean is feeling these emotions at a certain meditative state, he's obviously vibrating on a certain level which matches that emotion. That is that emotion. And so why not find a musical note that also matches with that vibrational energy and see if that musical note can trigger that feeling for you, even if you're not in that state already, and even if you haven't gone to that state via meditation. So outside meditation, when you're meditating and you felt like euphoric, hum something that feels resonant with yourself, very like resonant, something comfortable, like a very comfortable hum. And whatever it is that note is, try humming that note outside that meditation and see if you feel good about it. Yeah. See if that triggers that emotion, that frequency of that emotion that you felt. That might be the matching with that music. So in that way, that's what I'm talking about. That music, I think, relates to emotions. It's just energy and vibrations.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you like it.
I'll sign up to that.
Awesome.
So how about let's go into the whole money and music thing a bit more.
Well, actually, I'm just going to continue talking, but we're talking about purifying the industry because, if people were doing things, making music and playing music in a way because they loved it, and for no other reason, I think the whole industry would be a whole different place.
The only way this would work is if money didn't exist.
Well, if your money didn't have any relation to music, which I don't know how the fuck that would happen.
But then people probably wouldn't have the time to put into the music because you got to understand.
I know.
You also got to understand in some of these aspects where you got, I know especially in the electronic music industry, first-hand knowledge that a lot of these bigger guys, they're touring so much, they're just doing what they love and playing gigs and that so much that sometimes, I'm not talking about all of them, it's a few of them and a few of the very guys in the top 10, they're not going to write all their own music that they put their name to. Okay, they don't have the time. They don't have the probably the energy anymore. They've been in the game for so long. But like I'm saying, a lot of them do. Like Fidel Legrand and that. Like he would. Armin van Buuren probably does. But Tiesto and a lot of these other guys, they probably don't write all their own music. Now they probably would purchase it off someone and maybe put some adjustments to it.
But I don't care if a DJ doesn't produce their own music. Just specialise, and if you're a good DJ, fuck making it.
I'm just saying the time. It's all the time.
Course,
if you've ever made a song, some songs take about 80,
I know,
90
Sean,
hours to make.
I live with you when you're spending 30 hours straight looking at the computer making a song.
I know. Yeah, it takes a long time to make a good song.
Yeah, but I'm thinking sort of the internet's a really interesting way where I reckon that purifying the industry in that way is kind of happening because if you look at how much pirating and all that sort of stuff gets done over the internet, like you've experienced it yourself, people copying your music and all that. It's kind of like saying to the public, listen, you better not be making this music for anything other than the fact that you like making it because we're going to fucking not give you money for it. Yeah. So I think that's kind of almost, yes, it's going to suck for a bit, especially if you need money, but eventually people will only make music because they like it, because they just know it's impossible to make money from it because it's just viral.
I mean, anyone that knows anything about the internet, like I heard a song today on Triple J and I was like, I like that song, I'm going to go and download it. But I'm not going to fucking pay for it.
Well, we did
I don't
that
like
with
it that much.
Century.
I've got my... we did that with Seth Century, an Australian hip-hop.
Because he was singing about things like social movements
social
and stuff
change
like
and that. Well, yeah. But
so,
if I believe in an artist, like any of my favourite top bands, AFI, punk band, Used to be Under-in-Law, Grinspoon, these sort of guys, when I was listening to that, or like Hilltop, or any Australian hip-hop guy, I'll really try and give money to. Electronic music, no, because the industry hasn't done. I've given a lot to the electronic music industry.
You can take as much as you want.
And now I'm just going to take it back, all right? And all I do now is I just listen to sort of online radio stations, Frisky Radio,
If anyone hasn't listened
fucking
to
shit.
It's really good. Thanks, Richard, if you ever listen to one of these. Frisky Radio is
good stuff. It's good, easy listening.
Such beautiful music.
Progressive music, very well put together. Progressive, state of the art in any form of electronic music that you'll find. If you want to hear the best electronic music out there at the moment, Frisky Radio. .com. Fucking nothing.
.free.
.free. It's free. That's it. If you want to download that shit, you have to pay $5 a month or something. But
it's worth it anyway.
It's worth it. But anyway, like, you give money to the people who deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, I just think, a lot of people out there, they just don't deserve it. Yep. And
like David fucking Guetta. Okay, yes, I've heard some. Yes, I've heard some bad music before at Revolver. Yeah. It's pretty bad, but the worst I've ever heard was David Guetta at Summer Days 2011.
Yeah. Electro.
Oh
Electro,
my God.
guys. Everyone, if there's any DJs out there, Electro's dead. It's gone. It's harsh sounding shit. You get move
Every
on.
second song you played was harsh to my ears.
Nobody listens to electro.
It was so loud and the noises were really screechy and it was awful. And he didn't even bother to mix in song.
It was like these days. You don't understand. That's what fucking kids.
Why? What with the fluoro and all that? It matches with the fluoro, doesn't it?
I don't fucking know, but they really like electro, fucking, harsh sounding, like, like.
But again, that brings the question.
It's like this fucking psycho with a guy with a knife in the background, just going.
It really is. It really is. But then
it's fucking rough.
Yeah, but this guy, he didn't even mix songs. He would just stop play songs, and it was like he was smashed. He came and he didn't give a fuck about it. It was so bad, and he played that song, Tonight's gonna be a good. Oh my God!
Black-eyed motherfucking peas.
It was awful. It was really
peas, motherfuckers.
But anyway, it was a good day overall.
It was a good day.
Yeah, because it was a festival.
Well,
But
when was the last time you went to the festival to hear music?
Oh, what do you mean?
No, I'm sorry.
It's stereo.
But anyway,
Stereo Sonic.
Carl Cox stage is good. He's only got a couple of years left in him, surely.
I went to Stereo last 2012, and fucking Adam Beyer, the best techno DJ in the world, for sure. Like pure Dutch techno, like the proper stuff. Yeah. Techno, it was so good. He proper played, Dutch and then techno, straight after that, Carl Cox, and it was like a heavenly 4 hours. I did not move from the dance floor. I just deliberately did not.
It'll be a dark day when Carl Cox leaves the scene because there's going to be a big gap that's not going to be able to be filled by too many people.
But some of the best music I've ever heard was like techno music at the festival in Holland, Awakenings, and it's a festival dedicated only to techno music. There's about 30,000 people there, and the beauty of it is that you couldn't get something like that in Australia because there's just not enough of a fan base of techno music to warrant having such a festival.
No.
This festival, it was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah.
And then the headlining DJs went and played at the local best nightclub in Amsterdam, and they were just freestyling with each other. Adam Beyer and fucking Jeff Mills. Yeah.
Jeff Mills.
Yeah. They were freestyling with each other at Paradiso in Amsterdam, and that was pretty much up there with the best musical experiences I've ever had. It was absolutely amazing. And at the end of it, they shook hands and hugged, and it was just like a moment for them because they were like, no, that was so much fun. DJing with you, that was just bliss. For them, that's all I want to see is a DJ up there playing what they want to play and having a good time. I want to hear what they want to play me.
I see, you'll have a lot of, and if anyone's listening to this, if you speak to a lot of reputable DJs in Melbourne, the best DJ in the world is actually lives in Melbourne. And his name is Boogs. I actually don't know his full name.
Yeah.
But his name's Boogs. And if you speak to
what
a lot
is
of...
his name?
I don't know. If you speak to a lot of his DJs around Melbourne, they'll say, well, he's technically the best DJ in Melbourne. And I can concur slightly. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen enough DJs around the world, and I've probably seen a lot compared to a lot of people, but I haven't seen enough to really definitively say
I don't
it.
think we've seen enough